This might be a bit of a bold thing to say, but I honestly don't think that it's possible to actually come to Shanghai and see this with your own eyes and not like it. Like, I honestly don't think it's possible to come to Shanghai and not like this city. So as you guys know, I came back to China after 5 years, and if you saw my very first vlog from Shanghai, where I was just getting a bit too emotional about the fact that, well, things have changed in these 5 years and Shanghai doesn't feel the same anymore. Surprise, surprise, who would have thought, right? You might be thinking, what am I talking about and why am I even back in Shanghai? Was the plan not to travel around China? I was in Wuhan in my last vlog, heading up to Chongqing. So what changed? Okay, let me explain. Good morning from my tower here in editor, drumroll, aka I don't have an editor, but actually I'm looking for an editor, so if you're a good editor, hit me up. We're back in Shanghai. Yes, I am back in Shanghai in this hotel room that really reminds me of a tower, like, but just, I mean, just look at this, like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a tower. We are technically in a tower. The windows are very dirty, so I will show you the view, but you won't be able to see much. As I told you, there are actually very, very dirty, but I can see Shanghai. We're back home in Shanghai. Someone actually commented on my last video from Shanghai and telling me that I'm not allowed to call Shanghai home anymore because this is not my home. And you know what? You're right. This is not my home. The city has not been my home for 5 years, which is a very long time. But I can call it whatever I want because even though, yes, not my home, technically, I still feel very good here and I still love this city so much. This person also told me that I shake my head a lot and I was like... Ugh. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you back in Shanghai, you weirdo? Were you not supposed to travel around China? Well, yes, I was. But first of all, one doesn't need any reason to be in Shanghai in particular because Shanghai is so great. Two, I changed my mind. I decided to come back to Shanghai because I felt like I did not get enough time here. So as you know, when I arrived in China, I spent a couple of days in Shanghai and then I got this awesome opportunity to join my friend Phoebe and stay with her at this incredible 5-star resort in Shaoxing. So that's what I did. Then we went to Nanjing, then I went to Wuhan, and I was supposed to continue traveling China, and I still will, but I decided to take a short break back home in Shanghai and just spend a couple of days here before I will continue my journey through China. So don't you worry, I will be showing you a lot of cool places soon. But before I do that, I will be spending a couple of days in Shanghai because even though it didn't necessarily make sense with my travel plans, I just felt like this was something I needed to do. You see, when I first arrived in China, Shanghai was my very first stop, and it just felt strange to be back after all this time. And I had all these expectations and I imagined this moment so many times. And when it finally happened, it was almost like a bit disappointing because I expected it to be this big moment and it wasn't really. I mean, I was happy to be back, don't get me wrong, I was very happy, but it just didn't feel as special as I imagined it to be. So I knew that I had to give Shanghai another chance and I'm very glad I did. As you can probably tell by the amount of umbrellas that appeared everywhere, it's raining, unfortunately. However, I'm luckily on my way to a place that has roof, a place where I'm planning to eat food. We just have to get there. Oh my god, look what this horrible rain has done. The Pearl Tower is gone. When I came back to Shanghai this time around after traveling around China for a couple of weeks, I took metro from Hongqiao Station to People's Square, and when I went out and saw the lights of Nanjing East Road, and I just felt like, yes, this is it. I am back home, and it just felt so good. I felt like I did get a little bit of that feeling that I was really hoping to get. But it also made me think about something else. You know, I think it's quite normal to romanticize places where we once felt happy. And the truth is that I do love Shanghai. Yes, I still think it's one of the greatest cities on earth.
But I was a child when I first came to Shanghai. It was almost 10 years ago, and in these last 10 years, I've done so much. I traveled a lot, I saw many new places, I moved between a couple of different countries. I've been very fortunate to live a very interesting life like I always wanted to. And coming back to Shanghai, which is a city where my adult life started really, made me realize how much I changed in the last decade. And it actually did end up being this quite big and groundbreaking experience that I was hoping for. But I guess I just needed a little bit more time.
So this is the place we're going to for food, and something that I've noticed that I feel like it was not as intense before in Shanghai is the amount of people taking pictures. And don't get me wrong, I'm doing it myself right now at that very moment. I'm filming myself talking to a camera, right? But even though I do it myself, I cannot help to notice it, and sometimes it just feels like it's almost a bit too much, which also makes me feel like, am I also a bit too much? I am definitely a bit too much, but you know, some people are just really So I decided to go for a walk at the Bund and just listen to some music. I'm obsessed with French music lately for some reason. And to be fair, I don't even know if we can still call this the Bund where I'm walking right now, because, well, I'm very confused. After 5 years of not being in Shanghai, the Bund, or what, yeah, whatever, the Bund was extended, and now you can just literally walk forever. Back in my old good days, Bund used to be I don't know, a couple of kilometers long, and now they just extended it and you can walk and walk and walk. And so my plan was just to go for a little walk, but I keep walking and it's just not ending. I love it though, no complaints, because I mean, it's a great place for a walk now and for a run. Also, it gives you opportunity to see Shanghai from a whole different angle. I've never been to this place where I am right now. But honestly, all changes that I see in Shanghai, I think are very good and positive changes that are making the city even better and even more livable, more people friendly. I do see efforts to make more space, more green space, more walking, exercising space. The traffic, oh my god, the traffic in Shanghai is literally good right now. It's gotten so much better, at least here in central area. I know it tends to be different and more local outside of the downtown, but here in downtown there is so much police, no one is trying to run you over anymore, which is great. See? I can practically walk forever now. It just is. Another interesting fact about Shanghai is that they're apparently trying to keep Shanghai's population level at what it is right now, which is 25 million people. They don't want the city to get bigger, meaning they don't really want more people to move here, which I absolutely understand, because 25 million people is already plenty of people. So of course it does get hard when those cities are growing, especially at the level that they are here in China. And another interesting fact is that back in the days, aka 5 years ago, when I used to live in China, Shanghai was still the biggest city in China, and now it's not the biggest city anymore. Now the biggest city in China is Chongqing, with population of 30 million people. Can you even imagine 30 million people in one city? That's 6 times more than the country where I grew up. It is another beautiful, gloomy day in Shanghai as usual. I mean, Shanghai's weather is not, it's very warm though, but it is gloomy a lot here. I'm on my way to meet up with Jenny, who you guys, let me cross the street because it's green light. It's green, okay? So I'm on my way to the Captain. Captain is a bar. I think they also have a hostel close to the Bund, and it is known as one of the most affordable places to grab a drink or food with nice Bund view. Obviously, a lot of these places where you get the nice view of Pudong skyline are very expensive. Shanghai is an expensive city. I feel that's one thing that might surprise many people, or me personally. So I live in Warsaw right now, and Shanghai is way more expensive than Warsaw, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of people still have this like misconception of China being super cheap, and you know, it really depends where in China you go. It's kind of big, you know. I know. It's like right there. It's so nice to catch up with Jenny, but as you can see right now it's raining. Shanghai, I love you, but stop raining on me, okay? Stop it, please. However, the show must go on. I really want to show you this like little food place that I found the other day because I really like it so much. It's very like, it's not street food, but it's like street food, very local vibe, very cheap, very affordable. Oh my gosh, look at this. There has been a complete change of plans because I managed to accumulate a good chunk of lunch food. Not sure what it is. Not sure what it is, but we're gonna see. And one thing that I want to say is that so many people who work at these little like food stalls here in Shanghai are just so nice and kind. And I always try to like, you know, use my very bad Chinese to speak to them, and I feel like maybe that's why maybe they appreciate the effort, but it just always blows my mind how nice they are. I really appreciate that because I also do know that their life is not easy. That street food here is so cheap compared to like the prices here in Shanghai. So, you know, what they earn, I'm imagining is not much, and the life, I mean, life in Shanghai, in this big city, can be tough. So it's just really nice that they're still so kind, you know. I'm on my way to grab a drink with a friend, and I just wanted to quickly show you yes, I did lose my voice. I just want to quickly show you something that is a bit sad, but also at the same time it is a reason why you really need to hurry up and visit Shanghai as soon as possible, because very soon the city will look very differently. Well, now there is a bus here, so I cannot show you. Bus, excusez-moi, can you... The reason why you should visit Shanghai sooner than later is because old Shanghai, as you can see here in the back, is unfortunately slowly disappearing, and this will just, I mean, it will just continue. It will just get worse and worse, unfortunately. A lot of the old buildings, a lot of the old architecture here in the central areas of Shanghai is being demolished. Like you can see, these buildings are only 2 stories, so it is very low for central Shanghai. We're surrounded by all these skyscrapers. So keeping buildings like this in downtown Shanghai, where the ground, where land is obviously extremely expensive, is something that no one is willing to do, right? This restaurant is like literally the last thing open on this street. So sad. I don't know how they managed to stay open. Everything here, as you can see, there's no one living there anymore. So next time I'll be here, I mean, you never know when I'll be here next time. This is probably won't even be here. It's quite sad to see that. So rude. Back in the days, it was probably someone's shop or like street food stall, and people would live here, and now it's slowly disappearing. I did watch some videos about this topic, about, you know, old neighborhoods in Shanghai disappearing, and a lot of these buildings, like the ones that I just showed you on this street, they're actually like, they're not the oldest buildings in the city. They're built in like 50s or so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about a little bit, but you know, they're not super duper old. There are some very old buildings that are still staying and that are obviously kept. But these are also not necessarily built in a very like lasting way. It's quite like bad quality. So that's why a lot of the times it's just like you can't really do much with it, right? But still, it is quite sad to see Shanghai changing so much. And I think what makes this city so charming is the mix of old and new, right? So